I found out a while ago that my job was probably not going to last much longer.
It's too early.
Episode 3 of hoping that my job will last forever, or at least until I retire. But who knows, man? I just keep praying and hoping that they change their ideas, but who knows? Anyway, yesterday at work, a coworker. My last video, I talked about how I haven't had an accident in 27 years, right? Yesterday, unfortunately, one of my coworkers had an accident. It was crazy. I still can't believe it, but it happens. I've seen it happen before. Not me personally, but I've seen the results of it. So in my station, there's this gate, automatic gate, that you push a button, it opens up. You drive in, drive out, but it also has a set timer. After a little while, it starts closing on you. And if you do drive through it or walk through it, it has a sensor. So if it senses something, it'll go back up automatically. But if you're going too fast, obviously, it's not going to hit in time. So my coworker, I remember I was there at the time when he talked to me afterwards. So I drove in, pulled up to the gate, and unfortunately, when you open the gate, we don't have like a gate opener. So you got to go all the way inside the door, push the button, open the gate, come back out, go into your truck, and then drive into the gate. Gives you enough time to drive in and go and park your truck. So usually when I do it, I walk in, push the gate open, get back to my truck, drive in, park. As you're parking and you're doing your, end of day stuff, the gate eventually you'll hear it start closing. So that day I did that. I walked in, opened the gate, drove in, parked in my spot. I heard the gate closing. Didn't think much of it. And then a little while after, there's a truck next to me comes in. I heard him do the same thing. He had to walk in, open the gate, drive in. He parks right next to me. And then I didn't even hear it. But I saw him, the other coworker that this happened to, I saw him standing in the middle of the bay, like the bay area. And he was just standing there, he was looking, and he was on his phone talking, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what's going on? I didn't really understand what was going on. I just saw him talking and on the phone. He looked like he was like waving his arms. So I didn't really understand what was going on. I'm just thinking that's weird. Maybe he's having a conversation with his, a friend of his, a partner. I have no idea, right? That's what I was thinking in my head. I just seen it kind of weird. So I'm going about my day. I'm doing my paperwork and stuff like that. And I finally get out of my truck and start walking in. And I see him. And he's coming along. And I was like, everything okay? And then he tells me, he's like, oh, I don't know what happened. Um, he said as he pulled up to the gate, there was a green light because they have lights on the gate. It's green, go through. It's red, you gotta just stop. If it's red, you gotta stop. You're gonna have to unfortunately walk all the way around and open it up again. I mean, if you're lucky, you could put your nose of the truck underneath it to get the sensor if it's still high enough when it's red. But most of the time, just don't even try. Just stop, walk around, and go there. So he tells me he saw it was green and he went in. And then all of a sudden it hit the top. So as he drove in, he said as he drove in, the top hit the top of his similar to the truck that I'm driving. There's like a metal cap on the top of the truck where there's a vent, right? So he said as he was driving in, that gate hit the metal cap on his truck, fell off. So I was like, oh man. So he was on the phone with somebody. He said, yeah, it was green. It was green when I was going to it. And then all of a sudden it hit my truck. And then I talked to another coworker the next day. He said, yeah, same thing. He said, the gate sometimes acts weird, like it's green and it shows two lights, green and red, and you think it's green, but it's not. It's red, so you got to just stop. But he just didn't, it just sometimes it just collapses on you, and that's it. There's nothing you could do about it. But got to just be safe, I guess. You can't. You have to really. It's not just go by the light. You also have to look and really be aware that if the gate's down now. It is what it is. It happened. So they just put up these new signs in my station. And the new signs, they say like how many days without an injury and then how many days without an accident. So I took a picture. I'll show you a picture right here. So it was 9 days without an injury and unfortunately 0 days without an accident. And they literally just put that sign up like the day before. And I was like, that's bad timing for that sign. I feel bad for the guy. I don't know. If you get like 3 accidents within a year, you can actually lose your job. So hopefully that's his first accident. I didn't really ask him about that. I didn't get specific about it, but hopefully that's his first accident and that's it. But it just goes to show you like how things can just happen like that in an instant. Just one simple thing and it just happens. And I'm not saying it's his fault or the gate's fault. I have no idea. I wasn't there to really be a part of that, but it just goes to show you like one simple thing like that can change everything. Crazy. You ever have one of those moments where it doesn't seem important at the time, but later in life, that moment meant something more important than you thought, right? I remember this one time, right? This one night. This had to be about 20 years ago. I was driving home late from work, right? Long day. And it's one of those shifts where everything that can go wrong just went wrong. My back hurt, my feet hurt, my head hurt. And I remember thinking, man, is this really what the rest of my life is going to be like? And there was this house on my route. I used to deliver there a lot, right? This older guy, probably in his 70s or whatever. I brought him a package. He'd open the door. And he was genuinely happy to see me, right? Not for the package so much, but he was happy to see me, the person. Maybe he was alone. I don't know. So that night I'm driving home and I pass his block and accidentally, just driving. And I'm totally out of the way. I didn't even realize I turned down the street till I noticed it and became familiar with it. And I just stopped the truck for like 1 minute. I looked at that house. All the lights were off, right? And it hit me out of nowhere. One day, this truck is going to stop rolling for good. One day, every house that I've ever delivered to Every route I've memorized, every shortcut that I know, it's all going to stop being just normal. And I just sat there in the dark with the engine running. And I just realized, like, life moves forward. Whether we're ready to or not, it just keeps moving forward. But the part that I never forgot was this weird little feeling that I got deep in my chest, right? When that day comes, you're gonna be okay. Something else is waiting for you, right? I didn't know what it meant at the time, right? I didn't think about it again for years. But when I heard about the news about what's going on at my job now, that night came right back again. Like it happened yesterday. I still remember pulling up to that house and just stopping there and just thinking about that. And now I'm thinking maybe that was God's way of telling me that the chapter was always meant to turn. You're not supposed to stay stuck doing one thing forever. Eventually, there's going to be a change, right? We're all going to have change. So if you're listening to this right now, you're going through something similar, just know the page doesn't turn to end the book. It turns because there was another part of your story you were meant to read. And as hard as it is, whatever that new chapter is, I'm going to be ready for it. And same thing with you. Whatever their story goes, whatever happens in your life, just know that the page turns. There's another story there. It doesn't just end there. Things will go on. It will continue. You will be okay. The story ended right there, but the next chapter comes on. Sometimes the story gets better. Stories have like a beginning, middle, and end, right? Beginning, it's all good. The middle, go through some hard times and some hardships. And then the end becomes really good. That's how a good story is. I think you can relate to that. So whatever you're going through right now, you might be in the middle of your book. You might be where everything's going wrong and it's hard and it's sometimes it feels like there's no end in sight, but just know the pages are still turning. And as you get to the end of that book, things will get better. Things will move better. Things will feel better. And the hardships and the things that you went through, the middle of that book where everything was just crazy and life threw everything at you, it's just a couple of pages more. Keep going. Keep pushing through. Keep reading. Keep writing that story. Because it doesn't end yet. It only gets better. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, so please, if you have a moment, subscribe to the channel. Join me on my journey. Like I said, this is episode 3 of Still Got My Job, Still Moving Along. And if you want to just keep watching and be a part of this, please do. I really appreciate you. And comment below any of your thoughts that you have. Comment below. I really appreciate your time because your time is valuable. Subscribe, like, and comment below. Thank you so much for watching this.